The Money in the Bank briefcase. The holder is granted a WWE Championship match whenever they gosh darn feel like it. And more often than not, the result is a shocked crowd, an explosive reaction, and a brand new champion. But is this exciting innovation hurting the company's ability to make new stars? I'm Senor Siete for 7 Wrestling, and today we're going to take a look at 7 reasons why Money in the Bank is killing WWE. Now, before we scale the ladder and pull down a briefcase full of well-thought-out arguments, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell for even more wrestling goodness. Number 1. You don't get a second first world title win. Sure, we know that nobody really wins a world championship. A booking committee puts together a story that results in one person winning a shiny accessory from somebody else. But a world championship is the culmination of a lot of hard work, dedication, and sacrifice. And it is a vote of confidence from the company that they think you can handle being one of the top names of the promotion. Traditionally, a first world title win is treated like somewhat of a coronation, something to build to, something for the fans to anticipate. We're talking Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 12, or Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 14, or Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam 2002. Now, the element of surprise has its place as well, such as Bret Hart claiming the WWF title from Ric Flair in the middle of who knows where Saskatoon, but that was a clean win. A Money in the Bank cash-in where the champion has already competed is always going to have an asterisk by it in the fans' minds. And like I said, you only get that first title win once. Number 2, bad booking in the lead-up. Now, this has more to do with lazy booking than it does Money in the Bank itself. But in the past, the belief backstage is that they can beat the briefcase holder like a drum, because those losses won't mean anything once they've won the World Championship. But that isn't ever the case. No pun intended. Wins and losses matter. Continuity matters. And having a talent lose consistently one week and then becoming the champion the next without any kind of noticeable change is simply sloppy storytelling. Sloppy storytelling breaks the fourth wall and ruins the suspension of disbelief. The biggest misconception about wrestling fans is that they don't know what they're watching is predetermined. Oh, we know. We just don't like to be reminded by shoddy booking. So, what you end up with is either a wonky narrative where the wrestler is a loser one week and is a world beater the next, or a lame duck champion who the fans don't see worthy of the elevation, and neither is particularly good. Number 3, cashing in on a hurt heel isn't heroic. When Edge cashed in on John Cena back in 2006, it was magic. A dastardly heel known for taking shortcuts put one over on everybody by attacking the noble champion after he'd just been through 5 other competitors in the Elimination Chamber. A moment befitting a talent known as the ultimate opportunist. But babyface Big E doing the same to a hobbled Bobby Lashley? Or Dean Ambrose doing it to an exhausted Seth Rollins? Or Liv Morgan taking advantage of Ronda Rousey's injured knee? Sure, these are moments that the fans enjoyed. It's a sugar high. It's exciting to see something you didn't expect. But eventually, those highs come crashing down, and you're left with a story that doesn't make narrative sense. And the end results are title holders who don't feel like worthy champions. And while some may argue that surviving the Money in the Bank ladder match itself is the trial the hero has overcome to claim their prize, isn't the more badass move to let the boss know you're coming for them? Number 4, no 2 cases in circulation at once. There's a very weird theory amongst the WWE booking committee that wrestling fans have short memories, but nothing could be further from the truth. Most people enjoy long-term storytelling when former tag teams reunite, when there are callbacks to previous matches and moments. Heck, the entire Bloodline angle is layered with looks, moments, hurt feelings, betrayal, and that storyline has set the industry on fire. But for some reason, it's believed that wrestling fans wouldn't be able to keep track of 2 Money in the Bank briefcases at the same time. This didn't used to be a problem during the Raw and SmackDown branded suitcase era, but now that there's a women's Money in the Bank and a men's Money in the Bank, one of the briefcases needs to be burned almost immediately. Every time? Every time. Well, with the exception of the first time. Carmella held onto the briefcase for 287 days, and Baron Corbin almost had it for 2 months. But literally every other time. In 2018, Alexa Bliss would cash in on Nia Jax that same evening. In 2019, Bayley would cash in on Charlotte in that same evening. In 2020, Asuka's briefcase would literally award her the title when Becky Lynch had to step down because she was pregnant. In 2021, Nikki A.S.H. W-H-Y, would cash in on Charlotte the next night on Raw, and most recently, in 2022, Liv Morgan would cash in on Ronda Rousey in the exact same evening. 5 briefcases held for a grand total of about 48 hours. Weird, and also kinda silly. Number 5, losers are truly branded losers. It had to happen eventually. Someone had to be the first to fail at cashing in the briefcase. So the decision was made for someone who could easily take the hit, somebody whose reputation wouldn't be too harmed. We're talking about the Teflon Superman himself, Jonathan Cena. It was July 23rd, 2012 on the 1000th episode of Monday Night Raw, where the leader of C Nation cashed in his briefcase and was only able to muster a win by disqualification over then champion CM Punk. It's safe to say that Cena wasn't hurt by being the first, but that doesn't mean that the others haven't had an uphill climb. In fact, of the following 6 men, Braun Strowman, Damian Sandow, Mr. Kennedy, Baron Corbin, Otis, and Austin Theory, who have won Money in the Bank and failed to successfully cash in, only Braun Strowman would go on to eventually become a world champion. The others, with the possible exception of Theory, are now gone from the company or are mired in mediocrity. Number 6, Improper Elevation. Believe it or not, back in 2010, Mike "The Miz" Mizanin was one of the most over superstars on the roster. And after he won Money in the Bank, the fans were eager to see him cash in, despite being a dastardly heel. And on an episode of Monday Night Raw, on November 22nd, 2010, the WWE's most must-see superstar did just that, defeating Randy Orton after he just defended the title against Wade Barrett. However, there's a saying in the wrestling business that the man makes the title doesn't make the man. And in the eyes of most fans, The Miz had just capitalized on a wounded Randy Orton and wasn't quite at his level. And the booking proved this notion correct by having The Miz proceed to be dominated by Orton in subsequent title defenses at TLC and the Royal Rumble. The Miz only survived because he was bailed up by Alex Riley and CM Punk, respectively. The message was clear. He had the title, but wasn't worthy of a better showing against a top star. This continued to be a problem as they built toward a WrestleMania match with John Cena. Surely they would give him a match that would help elevate him at the Elimination Chamber against a prominent up-and-coming babyface worthy of a title match. Nope, it was Lawler. He faced ancient yet beloved announcer Jerry the King Lawler. Long story short, Miz faced Cena in a match that was overshadowed by The Rock's involvement, and yes, The Miz picked up the victory, but it was with The Rock's help. Then, The Rock beat him up, for funsies. So after all of this, he still wasn't actually elevated. After defeating John Cena in the main event of WrestleFreakin' The Miz wasn't seen as a bigger star. The Miz would drop the title to Cena about a month later at Extreme Rules and mosey his way back down to the mid-card, having held the biggest title in the industry for nearly half a year without ever actually being elevated. Number 7. The money is in the chase. Finally, the biggest reason why Money in the Bank is killing WWE is because it has hampered their ability to make new babyfaces. There's a belief in the wrestling industry that the money is in the chase. If you look at how the NWA used to book Ric Flair, he'd go from town to town facing each territory's biggest babyface. And the people in that area would turn out in droves to see their guy finally be the one to win the gold. And Rick would take that babyface to a time limit draw. So they'd do it again, a few months later, this time with no time limit. And this time, Rick would lose by countout. Okay, we'll do it again in a few more months, this time with no countouts. And Rick would lose by disqualification. So they'd do it again a few months later, this time with no time limit, no countouts, no disqualification. There's no possible way Ric Flair can weasel away with the world title again. And then some new villain would show up and cost the good guy the victory. Rick moves on to the next challenger, and the territory's biggest good guy has an out for losing. And odds are they sold out all of these shows because the money is in the chase. Seeing your hero win the big one draws significantly more money than seeing that same wrestler defend the big one. In WWE, it used to be that once a popular wrestler was determined to be the next guy, they would follow a path of elevation, the chase that would take them from a victory at the Royal Rumble to their first ever World Championship at WrestleMania. It was formulaic, but resulted in memorable moments like Shawn Michaels in 96 or Steve Austin in 98, some guy in 2004, Batista in 2005, and Rey Mysterio in 2006. And the formula still works, as we saw with Drew McIntyre. He took the same path to the world title in 2020. And when the show was over, we had a new, properly elevated main event star. With the Money in the Bank briefcase, Big E suddenly became the WWE champion out of nowhere. That's like the movie starting with Luke blowing up the Death Star, or Indiana Jones finding the Ark of the Covenant, or Daniel LaRusso defeating Johnny Lawrence. Sorry, spoiler alert. But in doing this, the WWE has cut to the finale of what could possibly be the most important and likely most interesting story of Big E's career. Well, that's our list. Are we wrong? Is Money in the Bank great for WWE? Let us know in the comments section below. Also, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and press that notification bell. Until next time, I'm Senor Siete for Savin Wrestling, saying bye-bye.